You know that soft airport carpet right before security? The one that weirdly calms you down for a second? Yeah, that's not nice flooring. That's a lever. It slows your steps, quiets the chaos in your head, and gets you moving at the airport's pace before anyone ever tells you what to do. Airports run on psychology. The lighting, the smells, the little turns in the hallway that keep you from seeing what's coming next. None of it is accidental. And airlines play the exact same game, just with different tools. They don't have to say, spend more. They just nudge you into it. A gate change that makes you trek past more shops. Boarding groups that turn adults into competitive line standers. App alerts that magically show up when you're tired, bored, and one tiny inconvenience away from paying for peace. Once you notice the pattern, you stop feeling unlucky and start seeing the system. So let's start with the move airlines pull long before you even get to the gate. The one that breaks up couples, stresses out parents, and quietly dares you to pay. The seat selection shuffle. Have you ever booked 2 tickets at the same time, on the same account, same checkout, and you're thinking, okay, basic logic says we'll be near each other. Airline logic says, cute. You land on the seat map, and somehow you're rows apart like the system forgot you're traveling together. That's not a glitch. That's the shuffle. A lot of airlines keep the best seat pairs locked behind a fee, then auto-assign everyone else in a way that spreads you out. And the moment you see it, that seat selection price doesn't feel like an upgrade anymore. It feels like a problem you're being asked to pay to solve. It hits people right where it hurts. Parents picture their kid next to a stranger. Couples picture a long flight stuck doing long distance on the same plane. Friends picture boarding together and landing like separate itineraries. If you want to dodge it, move fast. The second online check-in opens, jump in and grab seats while the map is still shifting. And if you're traveling with a kid, don't wait until boarding and hope someone feels generous. Handle it early while you still have options. Because the whole point of the shuffle is simple. Make sitting together feel like a premium feature, then charge you to buy it back. And if the seat map didn't get you, the next trap is way meaner because it hits you when you're already stressed. Have you ever walked up to the check-in counter thinking, cool, I'll just get my boarding pass there like a normal human? And the airline basically goes, sure, that'll be extra. A lot of low-cost airlines turn the counter into a penalty box. If you didn't check in online, or you don't have the pass pulled up the right way, the airport agent isn't helping you. They're ringing you up. The fee isn't paying for paper. It's paying for your mistake, because the airline wants you to do the work before you even leave your house. It's sneaky, because it doesn't feel like a choice. You're standing there with a suitcase, a time limit, and a line behind you. In that moment, you're not comparing policies. You're paying to make the problem disappear. So the move is simple. Treat check-in like brushing your teeth the night before a flight. Open the app, check in the second it's available, and save the boarding pass somewhere that doesn't depend on airport Wi-Fi. Put it in Apple Wallet or Google Wallet, and yeah, take a screenshot too, because phones love to glitch exactly when you're trying to look calm. And don't assume, I'll do it at the airport. That's exactly what they're counting on. Because airlines didn't remove the counter to make your life easier. They reduced staff, pushed the workload onto you, and then charged you if you show up expecting the old system. So you finally make it through check-in, you find your gate, you sit down, you exhale, and then the screen flips. Gate change. Now boarding at C28. And it's never one gate over. It's always a full-on airport migration, dragging your carry-on like you're pulling a stubborn dog through a mall. Here's what most people don't realize. Sometimes that random gate change is doing 2 jobs at once. Yeah, airlines have real operational reasons. Aircraft swaps, late arrivals, crew timing. But airports also care about one thing almost as much as departures. Keeping you walking. Because walking creates shopping. Every extra minute they can keep you between security and the gate is prime spending time. You pass coffee, you pass snacks, you pass the travel essentials wall that somehow convinces grown adults they urgently need a new charger at triple price. And the timing is what gives it away. The change shows up right after you've settled, right when you'd otherwise stop moving. Suddenly you're back on your feet, scanning signs, and drifting past stores you didn't plan to see. So what do? First, don't commit too early. If you've got time, sit near the center of your concourse instead of camping at a gate that might move. Second, watch the app and the monitors like their weather radar. The earlier you catch a gate change, the easier it is to move without panic mode spending. And here's the big one. When you do have to walk, don't reward the annoyance with a purchase. Airports love that pattern. Stress, then treat. Your brain wants to buy something to feel back in control. That's the trap. Sometimes a gate change is just logistics. Other times, it's a guided tour you didn't ask for. You ever notice how boarding announcements turn normal adults into competitive little line creatures? The agent says, "We'll now board Group 1." And suddenly, people who are clearly Group 4 are standing 6 inches from the scanner like they're about to win a prize. That isn't just people being people. Airlines learned a long time ago that boarding order feels like status. It's a tiny privilege that costs them almost nothing and sells like crazy. Because boarding first isn't really about getting on the plane faster. It's about avoiding the 2 pains everyone hates: fighting for overhead bin space and doing that awkward aisle shuffle past a row of already seated strangers while your bag smacks knees like a pinball. So the airline slaps the word priority on it, splits the cabin into more groups than a high school lunch table. And suddenly, being early feels like safety. People pay to reduce one specific fear, ending up with their carry-on gate checked because the bin's filled up. And the funniest part? Even if the plane departs at the exact same time, priority boarding still feels worth it because it sells relief, not minutes. Here's how to not get dragged into the little status war. If you don't actually need bin space, stay seated until your group is called. The gate area is not a sport, and if you do need bin space, your best move is packing like someone who's been burned before. Keep your carry-on truly carry-on sized, and put the stuff you'll need mid-flight in a smaller personal item so you're not digging through the bin like a raccoon. Because the airlines don't make boarding groups to make your life better. They make boarding groups because they can sell you a better position in line. You see those gold letters, duty-free, and your brain goes, "Oh, nice, a discount zone." A lot of the time, it's just a tax discount, not a price discount. Airports charge insane rent for those stores, and brands know you're in a weird mental state. You've survived security. You're a little bored, a little proud of yourself, and time feels fuzzy. That's the perfect moment to sell you something you weren't planning to buy under the costume of savings. And they don't even have to lure you in. In a bunch of airports, the path is designed so you basically walk through duty-free like it's part of the terminal. You're not shopping. You're just conveniently surrounded by perfume clouds and shiny bottles with a countdown clock in your head. Here's the quick reality check I use. If you wouldn't buy it in a normal store back home, don't buy it because you're in an airport with better lighting. If you really think it's a deal, do a 10-second price check on your phone before you commit. Half the time, the steal is just an airport-priced item with the word duty slapped on top. Because duty-free's best trick isn't the price. It's making you feel smart for spending. You finally sit down at the gate, and your brain goes, "Okay, we're done. We made it." That's usually the exact moment your phone lights up. Upgrade to priority boarding, only $29. Grab an exit row, limited seats. Last chance to choose a better seat. It feels random. It isn't. Airlines know the gate is where your patience starts leaking out. You've been herded, scanned, shuffled, and you're stuck waiting with nothing to do but scroll. In that mood, an offer that promises control, more space, earlier boarding, less stress, lands way harder than it would at home on your couch. And the wording is never "pay us more." It's always "make your trip smoother." It's framed like self-care, like you're treating yourself, like you're being smart. So if you want to stop donating money in $19 and $29 chunks, decide your upgrades before you're tired. If you actually need overhead bin space, maybe priority is worth it on a packed flight. If you don't, it's basically paying to walk down the jet bridge first. And if the message says limited or last chance, pause for 2 seconds and ask yourself, would I buy this if my flight wasn't delayed and my battery wasn't at 12%? Because that notification isn't there to help you. It's there to catch you at your weakest, bored, annoyed, and one tap away from feeling better. Quick curveball. Not all of this is bad. A few of these tricks can work in your favor if you know when to lean in. And one of the most annoying airline moves is also the easiest one to flip into free money or even a free flight. Now, While we're on the topic of free, let's talk about the word that makes everyone in an airport act the same. There's one word that makes everyone in an airport act the same: free Wi-Fi. You see it pop up and you connect immediately because you've got texts to answer, maps to check, and you're not paying for roaming just to scroll TikTok in Gate B. But here's the trade most people miss. Free Wi-Fi usually isn't free. You're just paying with data instead of dollars. That login page asking for your email, your phone number, your social sign-in, that's not for security. It's for profiling. Once you're on, the network can track what device you are, where you're moving inside the terminal, how long you linger in certain areas, and what you click. Airports and Wi-Fi providers use that to map crowds, sell ad targeting, and measure which stores actually pull people in. And that's why the Wi-Fi page is always so cheerful and easy to tap through. They want you to hit accept like it's a reflex. So, here's the simple rule. If you don't need it, don't join it. If you do need it, avoid logging in with a personal social account. And don't do anything sensitive on public airport Wi-Fi. No banking, no password changes, none of that. Use your phone's hotspot if you can, or at least use a VPN if you already have one. Because in airports, free usually means you're the product, and they're very good at selling you. You ever notice how airplane food gets a weird pass? On the ground, you'd look at that tray and go, nope. In the air, you take a bite and think, okay, this is kind of fine. That's not the chef, that's the cabin. Up there, your nose and taste don't work at full strength. Dry air, lower pressure, engine noise. Your brain reads flavor differently. So airlines build meals to cut through the fog. More salt, more seasoning, stronger, savory flavors. It's not fancy. It's calibrated to show up in your mouth when your senses are muted. And airlines know something else. Food isn't just food on a plane. It's a time marker. When the cart comes through, people stop obsessing over how long is left. Your brain goes, we're making progress. That little ritual makes the flight feel more manageable, which is why it's timed the way it is. Budget carriers flip the same idea into sales. They talk up limited items, and now a basic wrap feels like a rare opportunity. You're not buying lunch, you're buying relief from boredom and FOMO. So don't let altitude decide your wallet. If you're truly hungry, eat. But if you're just restless, bring one snack you actually like and a full bottle of water after security. It's amazing how quickly the onboard menu loses its grip when you're not shopping with your emotions. You know that moment at security when they pull something out of your bag and it disappears into a gray bin? Most people assume it's gone forever. A lot of the time, it's not gone. It's just reassigned. Surrendered items often get collected, sorted, and sold off through surplus channels or auctions. Not because it's dramatic, because it's a steady little side economy built on traveler forgetfulness. Your confiscated multi-tool can end up in a bulk box being sold off like inventory. Lost luggage has its own version of that. Airlines hold unclaimed bags for a period of time, and if nobody claims them, the contents can get sold to resellers. That's how you end up with stores that literally sell items from unclaimed bags. So if your bag goes missing, don't walk out of the airport thinking you'll deal with it later. Later turns into hold music and email chains. Report it while you're still there with the claim tag in hand and show them a photo of your bag from your camera roll. The faster it's logged, the better your odds it comes back before it gets pushed into the system's move-on pile. You put your card into an airport ATM, and it can tell you're a foreign traveler. So it gives you a helpful question. Would you like to be charged in US dollars? That's not help. That's an upsell. If you pick US dollars, the ATM is saying, let me do the currency conversion. And when the ATM does the conversion, it gets to choose the exchange rate, usually a worse one. Then you still pay the regular fees on top. So you lose money twice. Bad rate plus extra charges. If you pick the local currency instead, you're telling it, no thanks, my bank will convert it. And most of the time, that ends up cheaper. So when that screen pops up, don't choose your home currency. Choose the local currency. The convenience option is often the expensive option, especially at airports. Airport lounges look like they're reserved for people in first class and frequent flyers with mysterious status levels. But most of the time, that exclusive vibe is marketing. The door isn't locked, it's priced. A lot of travelers don't realize you can often buy your way in with a day pass or get access through credit cards and lounge networks. And the reason airports love lounges so much is simple. They're selling you quiet. They're selling you space. They're selling you a chair that doesn't feel like a public bus stop. Here's the part people mess up. They assume it's either free for VIPs or not for me. Meanwhile, they're spending almost the same amount on 2 sad meals, a lukewarm coffee, and a phone charger they'll lose in a week. So before you do the airport food court tour, check your airline app and your credit card benefits. You might already have access and not know it. If you don't, a paid entry can still make sense on a long delay or a long layover, especially if it gets you real outlets, decent food, and a bathroom that doesn't feel like a sporting event. Just don't buy lounge access for a quick stop. If you've got 40 minutes and your gate is a hike away, you're basically paying to speed walk to free crackers. Lounges aren't for the elite. They're for anyone who knows the trick. Airports sell comfort the same way they sell upgrades, quietly, and at the exact moment you're tired enough to want it. You're feeling good in that lounge, and then you hear it over the speakers. We're looking for volunteers to take a later flight. That's airline speak for. They sold more tickets than they have seats. Overbooking isn't an accident, it's a calculation. Airlines know some people won't show up, so they gamble. Most days, they win. The day everyone shows up, they start shopping for a problem solver, and that's you. Here's the part passengers miss. The first offer is almost never the best offer. They start low to see who bites fast. If you're flexible and you want to volunteer, you don't need to get dramatic. You just need to get specific. Ask for a confirmed seat on the next flight. Ask what happens if that flight fills too, and ask for the compensation in cash or check, not a mystery voucher you'll forget about. And if you don't volunteer, protect yourself from being the easy pick. Check in early, get a seat assignment if you can, and stay close when they start calling names. Because when airlines have to choose who gets bumped, they lean on criteria like check-in time and fare type. Also, this is a good one to know. If your boarding pass has already been scanned and they've told you you're cleared to board, they generally can't bump you after that for oversales reasons, unless it's safety, security, or behavior related. That's why they do the volunteer dance before they let everyone fully commit. Ask any frequent flyer what's harder, finding a cheap ticket or getting your money back. People hesitate for a reason, because refunds in airline world aren't a transaction. They're a negotiation you didn't agree to join. It starts with the language trap: refundable, non-refundable, credit, voucher, flexible. They sound close enough that you don't worry until you actually need your money. Then you realize credit isn't a refund. It's store credit with an expiration date, and it keeps your cash parked inside the airline system. Next comes the time trap. Airlines know frustration cools off with time, so the process stretches. Your request becomes a case number, then a review, then pending. Nobody says no out loud. They just make yes take so long that a voucher starts feeling like a win. Because cash leaving the airline hurts. Credits don't. Credits are basically an interest-free loan from you to them. So if you ever want to have a chance in this maze, you have to act like a paperwork person. Before you buy, read the refund rule like it's a contract, because it is. When you cancel, do it in a way you can prove later. Save screenshots, keep emails, write down times and names. And when they offer flexibility, translate it correctly. We'll make it easy to keep your money with us. Refunds teach the simplest lesson in flying. Losing money is easy. Getting it back is where the game starts. All right, your turn. What's the most ridiculous airport or airline gotcha you've ever dealt with? Drop it in the comments. I read these and they help shape the next video. If you want more travel tips that actually save you money and stress, hit like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.